think HopUp's great. What I would like to see HopUp try and utilize is, and I don't know if this is possible on maybe on the mobile platform, give users some sort of ability to plug in certain bits of pre-selected or pre-designated data. For instance, if I'm selling a Crytek rifle, I don't want to type in Crytek because I might spell that wrong and that might not come up in the right search parameters. What I would like to be able to do is just say that I'm selling, selling, obviously, and then rifle, so rifle, pistol, shotgun, whatever, boom, selling rifle. And then I get another drop down that says, oh, I'm selling I'm not a G&G, not this, Crytek. Click, and then it brings up the Crytek, so it brings it down. So I would like to see that. I think that would categorize it better. That's just my thing for that. For you knuckle draggers, you mouth breathers that are still posting like you've never taken a class a day in your life, let's use some of these helpful hints. Pro tip. Ringing just got real bad in my ear. Pro tips. Make and model. Of course, obviously, you're going to want to put the price in there. You don't need to put the price in the title per se because the price usually goes to the very top of the listing. So you're just double tapping and being redundant at that point. So putting the price in the title is redundant. It's not necessary. I recommend the first thing right there. Put the FPS, if it's a weapon, if it's a gun, put the FPS as chronoed with .20. So that's basically the standard across the board. Don't just put selling rifle shoots good money. What? You're stupid. Take pictures. Oh, don't take a picture of what the gun looks like. Take a picture of what the gun looks like that you're selling. If you normally play with a suppressor and an optic and a bunch of other accessories, but those accessories aren't for sale, they do not belong in the sales post. That's dumb. It's redundant. You're just creating more work for yourself because a bunch of people are going to ask you about those accessories when you could have just avoided all that unnecessary drama in your inbox by not putting it in the picture in the first place because you're lazy. That's the other part of HopUp users. Is 80% of them are just dumb and lazy. Sorry, it's true. Don't use stock photos either. If you're selling like a G&G gun or a Crytek gun, don't just download the picture off the website and go, oh, this is what it looks like. That's what the gun stock photo looks like. That's not what your gun looks like, because there may be things on that gun that you don't see that a customer will. So if you don't say anything about cosmetic damage and I see the gun in person and then there's a big scratch on it, bro, you didn't tell me there was a scratch on this gun. You could have put that in your picture. No money. Ain't happening. Make sure when you take a picture of the gun or of the item in general, I just mostly use guns as examples. Don't do it from some far distance away. Do it so that you can see a significant amount of the detail. You don't have to go like super zoomed in. Like you don't have to do look. I don't have to take a picture of it close up. Like, that's unnecessary. But from here, you can see a fair bit of detail. Does that make sense? No, my KWA is not for sale. Back off. Where are we at? I recommend using bullet style points, information points, kind of like I'm doing here. Get away from paragraph style. It's too much. It's just you want to use as few words as reasonably possible. Look at Twitter. Twitter's a great example. A single tweet is 140 characters. You can put out a lot of you can really go into a very good amount of detail with 140 characters without getting crazy, without putting people to sleep. Use as little words as possible. Otherwise, a customer or potential buyer is going to click on your ad, see just this giant paragraph of stuff. You go, I'm out. I don't want to read that. I don't want to take the time to read that. I'm just going to go with someone else. That's an opinion. If you have any aftermarket parts or work, make sure to put that in there. Because that can, if you're selling, say you're selling a Raider, say you're selling you're selling a G&G Firehawk for $300. If you don't put that it's HPA tapped or that it has a DSG engine in it or that it has, if we know that a regular Firehawk does not cost $300, What's the justification for a used gun costing more than a new gun? Then you just list all the parts. As fairly specific as possible. If it comes with, don't just put comes with 5 magazines. What are they? Mid caps, high caps? What are they doing? You don't really have to put a capacity. Generally, we know how many is going to come in a high cap and a mid cap. Here, there, kind of. So it's not really necessary. I don't think, at least. Is it front or rear wired? And is it Dean's or Tammy connected? That's fairly important, I would say. If you want cash, don't lowball yourself. Don't just say like $200 or best offer. I'm gonna send you a $20 offer and say that's the best offer I can do is $20. If you've used HopUp, you know what I'm talking about. You post the price, you're firm on the price, and that's it. $200, done. No negotiating, none of that. Now, if someone happens to say, I'm telling you from someone that's dealt in sales, someone will end up messaging you and say, hey, what about 180? Cool, 180 is good. But if you list that, then they're just going to go with, you're going to lose money. You're burning your own money before you even have it. You're working against yourself. Knock it off. No one cares if it's your first gun. No one cares how many rounds has been fired. No one cares how many mil-sim events it's been. No one cares about the emotional significance that gun has to you. It's irrelevant because it does not have value. It doesn't add to value. It doesn't add or take away from value. Like, oh, if this was my first gun, $500 because I don't want to part with it. You're stupid. You've got to be the dumbest person on the planet right now. Bullet points. Talk about the gun and only the gun, and leave it at that. You'll see some posts in here, like, dudes just at the top in all caps, like, angry text off the bat. Like, stupid people are going to message you no matter what you say. And if you tell people not to message you with lowballs or these other dumb offers, guess what? They're going to because you said not to do it. It's called trolling. I don't know if you've understood this. I don't know if you might be new to the game. Here's how I'd recommend you would do like a fancy, any sort of a simple Crytek, $300. Obviously, that's going to be at the top of the price deal up here. FPS with 2s, any aftermarket parts it comes with, and some shipping information. So whatever shipping, you pay the shipping unless you want to meet at some local field. That's pretty common. Boom, that's it. Couple good pictures. That's all you need. Short and sweet. I bought this gun. My dad got it for me for Christmas. Shut up. No one cares. All we care about is the item and what relates to the item. That's it. We're not buying your story. Standard box gun. Say you say that same Crytek Trident for whatever amount of money. It's that much money. Completely stock. Cool. If you haven't done anything to it, which a lot of guys usually don't, a fair amount of airsofters don't really tweak their guns too much, if at all. They buy it stock. Completely stock. Perfect. Takes away a lot of the guesswork. And then whatever your shipping information is. All right, let's look at what I think are some fairly bad examples of actual HopUp posts. M14 right here. The M14 Special Ops. That's $95 already off the bat. If it's under $100 in a used gun, I've never heard of a Special Ops, so let's look at it. There it is. It looks like something you would get at a swap meet. New in the box electric airsoft. That's it. That's the end of the post. Let me bring this up. Yeah, that's all there's there. This is a real HopUp post. It's real. So I wanted to sell. Obviously, you don't want to sell it that bad. I just told you a few minutes ago what some great examples are. It's a terrible example. If it's not self-explanatory to you, just set all your gear on fire and never play again. Good title. I really like the title on this one. Let me unlock this. Boop. I think this is all yeah, this was all it was. Comes with scope. Okay, good. I don't necessarily see it in the post, but okay, it comes with a scope, 2 high cap clips. Ugh. Okay, whatever. $300, you don't, okay, that's fine. And a sling, battery not included. If you want a battery, it will be $25 extra. Not bad. I would take the paragraph part out of it and just kind of bullet point it. It's not terrible. There might have been a reason why I said this one was bad. I can't really think of it. The picture's not great. It's not the best picture. Comes with blah, 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 blah scope. So it's not talking about the internals, but usually any smart player can infer that if a kid is taking pictures of a gun he wants to sell and it's still in the original box, it probably still has the original parts in it because they didn't buy a gun bag kit. In my experience, typically that's if it's still in the box it came in, they haven't really modded it or touched it. So that's what I would infer from this picture, but it doesn't say if it's stock or did you do anything to the internals or what's going on here. Not terrible. Bad, not terrible. Airsoft bolt, this guy. Airsoft bolt spring sniper. English must be like your third language. Let's bring that sale post up. Oh boy, look at how great this is. My biggest issue is what's the make and model. 400 FPS with .20s. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you have a sniper rifle that's only doing 400 FPS with 2s, just stop. Set it on fire. Go buy an AEG. No mods. Never fielded. I don't know what never fielded means. It means you never took it to a field. What does never fielded mean? Buyer pays for shipping. Messaging. I may not get back to you right away, but I'll check. Okay, whatever. What's the make and model of the gun? That's the biggest thing I need to know, so I can look up if that gun is worth what you're asking for it. Not great. Cheap M4. Just read it. Did you read it? Okay. Pause if you need to read why this is a terrible one. We're going to push on. Glockish. I'm guessing this is a troll post? I don't know. Glockish. No mention of make or model. I don't know if this is a TM Glock. I don't know if this is EF. I don't know what this is. I don't even know if this is G series. This is a terrible picture. Comes with mag and light. I don't know what this looks like because you kind of used not the best background. Terrible picture. There's an absolute... Look at all that open space around that picture. You could have zoomed in a little bit better. Tells a little bit of a story. I don't care. I don't care about this. I don't care that you live in Ohio. Comes with 3 magazines. Doesn't... For pistols, I would say if it's like a standard capacity or an extended. I'm guessing since it looks like he has a standard magazine in this, it comes with 3 standard mags. But it's not in the picture. I would like to see the magazines that it's going to come with, please. Has Armor Works 6.0 in barrel and HopUp. Will consider any offers. What a punch to the face. Would you consider that? Decent. Right at the top. Super angry opening line. Take that out because what you're doing is you're inviting trolls to bother you. Take that stuff out. Leave it out. Deal with it when it comes. I've got a McMillan. So I'm not a fan. The gun. He does a good job of telling the details of the gun, but he tells it in a story that takes way too long to read for me. I've got wild ADD. My brain is looking at this and go, I don't even want to read this right now. We're out. We're out of here. Don't get away from paragraphs. Get away from telling the story of the gun. Bullet points, and that's it. McMillan for whatever. Good starter for anyone. Doesn't matter. Gets into sniping. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I put an upgraded spring. It doesn't say what kind of upgraded spring he put in there. And I think my tech put some new HopUp parts. What? Were you just ambiguous about work done to a gun that you're trying to sell for money? Not a good way to go. It will come with 4 mags. Scope not included unless you want to pay more. PayPal, blah, blah, blah. Willing to trade. Don't lowball me. I will not consider it, but I will look at all the offers. Not the best. Could be a little bit better. Not the best. Here's another. This is another decent one. Classic Army skirmisher. Skirmisher. Looking for this like new. I'll accept like new. Classic Army M4. Very cool gun. Am flexible on price. Oh boy. And let's see what he wants that price at. Unlock. 125. Flexible on 125 bucks? Like what? Like 80? You take 80? Can include the sight for free. Okay, that's cool. It's nothing special, just an NC start. Oh, he's talking about the optic. Will come with a battery. Gun is wired to Dean's. Decent post. Would like to know what the FPS is, but solid. Be careful when you say that you're flexible on the price, because you're really inviting guys to be like, hey, how about $5? You say, oh, no, that's not true, but bro, it's true. Which one are we on? We're on the boop, boop. For gear, not bad. Modded blah, 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 blah. I have every type of pouch under the sun and can customize the PC for your needs, for example. So here's the only issue with that is you're using one post to try and sell a lot of things that are super customizable. What I would do was I would list all the pouches you have and how much they are individually. Or if you're willing to do like, say each pouch is $7. Okay, well, maybe you'll do like a 2 for 10, but itemize it. Don't just be like, oh, I got a bunch. I have every type of pouch under the sun. What? That's a lot. So, there's just, you try to do too much with too little. Other than that, I mean, decent pictures and stuff. Not terrible. It's decent. We're in the decent section. Demo Ranch UDR-15. Demo Ranch, brand new. Has an electronic blowback system that is disableable. I had to look that up. Disableable is a real word. How about that can be disabled? Because I had to stare at that word for more than I should have. Come in box with gun and a high cap mag. Buyer pays. Not bad. Decent. Good pictures of the gun. A little confusing with notice it has that really dark background. So the background kind of takes away from the picture. What is the FPS? That's what I would like to know. Here's a good one. The only thing I wasn't too crazy with on this one is the picture of the gun itself wasn't that full. Other than that, it's pretty good. Have a KWA, blah, 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 blah. 6 non-leaking mags, as opposed to, who would sell 6 leaking mags? You just put 6 mags. Hard case, turn away foam, do not. This is good. Especially when the FPS was around 330 to 350. I'm okay with someone giving an FPS range. That's realistic, especially with a gas gun. RPS is about 22. This is a great post. If you read through this, this is cool. I'm not a personal fan of paragraph style. That is a personal preference, but he does a great, or she, I'm going to guess a she based on Brian, great job of describing the item. Pictures could be a little better. We could have some more detailed pictures of the gun itself, but hey, this is great. KWAM for yada yada yada. So if we go the next one, the pictures they had was pretty good. Here's the text for it. Rifle is stock. Right off the bat, it's stock. Good, I like that. No real issues. This is older model 3-piece. One of the trigger prongs broke off. I would call that a real issue. If you say no real issues with the rifle's performance, trigger guard broke off while removing the trigger guard. To me, that's an issue with the performance, personally. Epoxied back on. Could be worse. Only a cosmetic issue. Okay, that's not bad. And then he lists all the stuff that it comes with. This is a great ad. One thing that is confusing. Looking for 220 shipped. Shipping not available. A little confusing. Just me. I'm a caveman. Magpul KWA LM4 up for sale. The same thing. Blah blah blah. Don't play much. Need to cash. Telling a story. We don't need that in there. Comes with 5 non-leaky PTS max. Yada yada yada. Shoots great. Shoots around 400 FPS. That could be good. Here's the only be careful with 400 FPS. Is it closer to 4 or is it closer to like 395? Because if it's closer to 395, that might be a little bit easier to sell if it's more leaning to, obviously if that's factually accurate, don't lie. If it's closer to like the 390s, because if you say shoots around 400 FPS and I go to a field that is hard-nosed, you cannot go over 400 FPS, you're telling me that if it shoots around 400 FPS, it could creep over 400. Does that make sense? I'm also assuming it's shooting around 400 FPS with .20s. It's not stated. It's an assumption. Will not part out. Cool. I like that. Update just got my Magpul stock for blah, blah, blah. I like this ad. This is a pretty good ad. Bullet style. Groovy. Super groovy. I think this is the last one I got. This is the last one. Custom high-end. This is pretty good. If you see, it's doing 370. So I'm guessing this is a HPA gun because he's doing 375 with 3s at 120 PSI. So that's most likely, if we're talking about PSI, then I assume this gun was intended for HPA users. I'm guessing. Again, I would prefer the FPS be at .2s because now I have to go to that Airsoft Master conversion chart and see blah, blah, blah. I've got to convert it down. I'm not mad that you're listing the items in it and the price, but one thing to consider is that if you list the price of the actual item itself and not any sort of explanation, it can be construed that you are selling each individual. So in this gun, you're selling the slide with a gold comp for $300. I understand that you're most likely telling me that the reason this gun is $1,100, right? Yeah, $1,100 is that, you know, the slide is $300, the frame is $200, the grip is $300, and so on and so forth. That's an assumption that I am making, is that you are detailing what makes this gun an $1,100 gun. That's an assumption. You don't have to put the price of the parts if you don't want to. In fact, I wouldn't, because it makes it look like I'm parting it out. That's an assumption. That's a personal opinion, but most people really like my personal opinions because, you know, I'm smart.